Hello everyone, I'm Kate Hill and welcome to the Adviseable Advantage Property News Update. Before we get started, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on further news updates on suburb analysis reports and our free webinars. As an overview, in today's programme I will cover off on thoughts on the economy in general, property prices from around the country, outcomes of a residential property survey, changes to the New South Wales Stamp Duty, thoughts on the WA market from the local Real Estate Institute, a finance update and on how lenders are assessing your loan applications at the moment, and finally an advisable area analysis report. You can jump to that particular segment that you're interested in if you don't want to watch the whole programme. It was hard to miss last week's major headlines. A record government deficit of $184 billion is expected for 2020 to 21, and net debt is expected to rise to 35.7% as of June 30th, 2021. This is up from below 20% in June 2019. According to Bank SA's recent economic update, the size of the deterioration in the budget position is not something that we have seen before in our lifetime, and it was called eye-watering by Treasurer Josh Frydenberg. However, we need to put the situation into perspective. It remains without question that with the Australian economy facing the biggest ever contraction since the 1930s, government help was needed. Unemployment would rise, there would be greater dependence on welfare support, and there needed to be a significant fiscal response. Otherwise, numerous viable businesses would fail. Focus should be on supporting the economic recovery, and using government debt to do so makes sense in the current circumstances. Indeed, the bigger concern is if that focus shifts to trying to pay down debt too soon. Despite all the bad news about the rising number of coronavirus cases, property values have remained resilient. CoreLogic's published price trends have continued on the same softening path evident over recent months and continue through July. Melbourne prices have softened a little, and more than has been the case in Sydney and the other larger capital cities, though not as dramatically so since the start of June, and even since the second lockdown took effect from the 9th of July. In this most recent time period, Melbourne prices have fallen 0.6%, essentially the same as Sydney at 0.7% and Perth 0.6%. Brisbane and Adelaide prices have been steady, also outperforming so far this year. According to NAB's second quarter residential property survey, the quarter saw higher activity from foreign buyers in comparison to the first quarter. Victoria saw foreign buyers account for 19.3% of new home market share, its highest level in 3 years. That means that 1 in 5 of new homes sold in the state was purchased by a foreign buyer. The average foreign buyer share of new property purchase in New South Wales is 9.1%. The average foreign buyer share of new property purchase in Queensland is 6.4%. In Western Australia, it's 6.3%. Chinese buyers made 40.1% more inquiries on Australian real estate in the second quarter than in the first. This was still 14.9% below the levels of a year earlier, which happened to be exceptionally high. The survey reports further that Chinese demand for Australian real estate was surprisingly strong in this second quarter, especially if you consider the context of a global pandemic, travel bans and lockdowns. In New South Wales, first home buyers who purchase a property worth up to $1 million will save thousands on stamp duty costs under a new New South Wales government scheme. In the changes announced by New South Wales Treasurer to our stamp duty threshold, stamp duty will be waived for newly built homes up to $800,000 and discounted up to prices of $1 million from the 1st of August this year. The previous limit was $650,000. The Treasurer said that these changes, as part of the state government's COVID-19 response plan, would also save first home buyers stamp duty of up to $31,000 on a new $800,000 home. The New South Wales Government has suggested that up to 6,000 home buyers could benefit from this scheme. It will also continue to offer a $10,000 first homeowner grant, which is available to people buying a new first home worth no more than $600,000, or buying land and building a first new home worth no more than $750,000 in total. This means that the maximum amount of benefit a homeowner could be entitled to is $32,000 if purchasing a new home and accessing the grant. Under the changes, the stamp duty threshold on vacant land will rise from $350,000 to $400,000 and will phase out at $500,000. The Real Estate Institute of Western Australia has said that with the Western Australian property market returning towards normality, there was no need for the emergency legislation to be extended. As such, they say that it should end at the current proposed end date of the 29th of September 2020. It comes at a time when the ACT has extended their emergency period tenancy legislation for residential and commercial properties. This emergency legislation was introduced on the basis that the WA economy would face a far greater shock than it actually did. And while the WA economy is certainly not as strong as it was pre-COVID, the Real Estate Institute of WA believe that applying emergency legislation to all tenancies is not the appropriate response to those who may need assistance. During the current emergency period, Real Estate Institute of WA members have reported that approximately 1% of residential tenancies have been unable to meet their rent in WA. For the vast majority of residential tenants who have only been moderately affected by COVID, the rental market should return to the normal supply and demand fundamentals. The current vacancy rate sits at around 2%. In finance news, we are still looking at what the banks are looking for from you. So something that came into effect on the 1st of July, and that is the open banking system. It just means that they have access to all sorts of data of yours. So they can review all your financial data within the banking system. Many lenders are asking for proof of salaries or savings right up until settlement, even after you have had an approval. So this can mean providing them with the most recent payslip or really up to the minute savings account statements. They are still worried and checking that you can service this loan. They are still going through your statements with a fine-tooth comb. Be prepared to justify all your spending. If you're getting ready to purchase property or you are looking to refinance, then now it is more important than ever to get quality advice in this lending space. So please get in touch with us today so we can point you in the right direction. Area research is one of the most important things that you need to do when buying property. Click on this link here to listen to some of the key questions that you should be asking when researching, and you can watch one of our area reports here right now. Morton Bay has been identified by the Queensland State Government as a principal regional activity centre and is slated for major growth in the Brisbane area. It has solid economic fundamentals and is a key growth corridor to the north of Brisbane. The current population is approximately 367,000, making it Australia's third largest council in terms of population. The local council are working hard to increase local job opportunities so people don't have to commute into the city. But if they do, you have the brand new train line into the city, which will continue to attract families seeking a better lifestyle for themselves. The area has easy access to major transport routes. Morton Bay is about 40 minutes drive from the CBD. It's the key growth corridor north of Brisbane, and Morton Bay is also one of South East Queensland's most diverse areas. As South East Queensland has grown, the Morton Bay region has significant population growth, which is projected to continue. The 12-kilometre Morton Bay rail corridor links Peachtree to Kippa-Ring and includes 6 new stations which opened in October 2016. These stations provide an opportunity for increased residential densities, and the express train from Kippa-Ring takes about 45 minutes into Brisbane CBD compared with over an hour by car in peak traffic. In September 2016, the Queensland Government declared priority development area activation over the former Peachtree paper mill site and the surrounding areas. Located in Peachtree, Kalanga and Launton, the site will be transformed into a new world-class innovation and knowledge precinct supporting more than 6,000 jobs. The Morton Bay region is one of the fastest growing population areas in Australia, with the rate of growth higher than that in South East Queensland. The region is expected to grow to over 500,000 people by 2031. Please subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on our area reports, our webinars, and our further news updates. Leave us a comment below and let us know if you have any questions at all or any concerns about your property buying. Please check out our website for more details on our services and how our advisors and buyers agents can help you. And I will see you soon. Bye.